What is going on, guys? My name is Nicholas Merton here at Data Dash. It is July 14th. So, guys, let's jump right into it. A lot of people are talking about the current downturn of Bitcoin and curious, we're kind of curious of whether or not we're going to get a pullback. Well, it is becoming obviously clear that we are most likely going to get one. If we look at Bitcoin's price action, it's starting to curve over, and it's going to probably retest the lows. If it does, we are probably going to get a very stellar pullback. Whether that's over 1 or 2 days in a flash crash, or if it's, over the course of the next few weeks towards the segment update, which is probably the catalyst that's pulling this back, who knows. However, though, nonetheless, we are looking for Bitcoin at a lower price, and we're also looking at the real opportunities to make that extra bit of money off of crypto, and that is the altcoin market. So, if we look over the past few days and stuff, especially since we had the crash, we had a pullback from 52 billion to 39 billion. Folks, that's a pretty big pullback, even for altcoins. And that shows you that it's still a very volatile market. And the only time you really want to get into this is when you can, with serious amounts of money, is when you can get a good pullback. So, however, I will say, altcoins did have a nice pullback. They went up to about $49 billion. And going from $39 to $49 billion, that's pretty impressive for that short period of time. So, nonetheless, we've pretty much pulled back from those gains. We've pretty much gone back down to where we are. We're only about $3 billion away. And that's not that hard to get pushed down, especially as Bitcoin's is going to go and retest that low. So, nonetheless, let's think in the long term and think in a more positive nature. Where can we start getting some good discounts? When others are fearful, we should be greedy, okay? We should start thinking about ways that we can get prices at cheap and we can make some long-term returns. So, let's think about it, guys. First off, I just want to share that I'm going to have about 5 coins I'm going to share with you all today. And, I don't want to say this is like the only coins I'm holding, and these are not, absolute set personal recommendations, guys. You have to do your own research. These are just simply what I'm looking at for good discounts. And they're not certain buys by me. I might change my mind, but I really think after doing some decent research over the past few weeks, I think I've really set my my tone on a few of these coins. So anyways, guys, let's jump right into it. First off, we're going to go to Crypto Watch here and check out the coin itself that everyone's been talking about if you're not talking about Bitcoin or Ethereum, which is Litecoin. Litecoin has definitely caught my interest, and I like Litecoin for the fact that it is, even in the weather of the storm of this pullback in crypto, from Bitcoin going from 3,000 to the low 2,100 area, and bouncing back and forth between the wedge and now looking at a pullback, Litecoin has remained relatively strong, and it's had a much more steady uptrend than most other coins. The reason I say that I really like it is, and like I said, basic technical indicators are extremely important, guys. You've got to use them. And one of those is the moving averages. For example, in this case, we see a bounce. Right here, this pink line is the 50-day. It pretty much takes all the average 50 days or whatever measure you're taking in, whether it be on the hourly or, you name it. And it combines them, and that's the price level. And as we can see, bounce off the 50-day. Bounce off the 50-day. Huge rally after a double bounce on the 50-day. That's usually a pretty positive term showing, look, this thing is not going below the indicator. Time to go up. And as it ran up, it came back down. It didn't even want to touch the 50-day. You can see it was inching towards it, but it didn't want to touch it. And then yet again, we have a bounce and the bull flag right here, where we have 2 or 3 days of slight pullback, and then a strong rally back up, almost hitting $60, guys. That is really incredible stuff. And honestly, we've had a decent little pullback here. I think it's necessary. I mean, it's pretty much fundamentally going to happen because we're having a pullback in general crypto markets. But that being said, do I think it's going to come down to the 50-day? Yes. Do I think it is going to find support at the 50-day? Well, as much as I'm optimistic on Litecoin, as much as we're expecting what to happen with Bitcoin and all other altcoins, I think it's going to go below the 50-day. However, I do not think it is going down to these levels before the uptrend. What I think we're going to see is it going to a pretty big even that can lie in with where the indicators are going, or the technical indicators. So, for example, we have the moving averages here. We could easily see a pullback to $30. Right now, we're sitting at $41.98. So we could easily see a pullback to the 100-day, which is lining up very nicely with $30. That depends how fast it sells off, though, in that sense, if we do get a pullback. Worst case scenario, though, worst case scenario would be a more drawn-out downtrend to $20. And if that happens, guys, I'm picking up some Litecoin. I think that would just be too hard to pass up, with Litecoin being one of the top coins and going down to $20. That would be quite a steal, in my opinion. But nonetheless, it's not a guarantee, and you got to be careful and make sure to enter in. If you want to start entering in, for example, at $30, I'd recommend doing increments, increments of investment. But you guys approach it how you want to. All right, next up, we're going to look at Stratis here. Let's go over to CoinMarketCap. And yeah, Stratis has had a very nice pullback. It was sitting around $11.35, and now you can actually get it at a pretty decent, fair price for how much hype is around Stratis. However, I wouldn't buy into it just yet. We saw the low at print around 250, which was, a good support level. However, I think we're either going to retest it or go a little bit lower. And we're really going to go on edge as to whether or not Stratis is, and under my definitions of a mid cap or a small cap. And what I define as a mid cap is anything that's 200 million or above. And in this case, if we get a pullback down to 250 or below $2, this will really kind of tether on the line of being a small cap crypto that's on the larger end, or a mid cap crypto. So honestly, to be honest though, I really have a lot of confidence in Stratis. The technology is relatively interesting, and they've got a pretty big development team on there. So honestly, I think if we could look for a pullback to the 250 range where we got support over here. Or if we could get it down here to $2, that would be an awesome steal. I'm going to be looking around those price levels if we get the bloodbath of crypto. I know that seems crazy because at this point, that's if you were to do, let's say for example, down, let's say the dollar, the value is at $3 and it goes to 150. That's a 50% pullback. And people would say you're crazy for thinking that's going to happen after all this. It could very well happen, guys. Altcoins are going to get hit pretty heavy if the big dog Bitcoin goes down. I mean, it's just usually inevitable. It's already down 12% today, so most of the gains that it's gotten from that rebound are disappearing. So, anyways, I mean, you got to do with it as you will, guys. I would definitely start adding to some Stratis. That's what I'm going to be doing. But keep your eye on it. So. Anyways, next up we're going to be talking about AntShares. AntShares has been getting a pretty decent amount of coverage and has even coined the name the Ethereum of China. Now, as you guys know, I'm very optimistic when anything cryptocurrency is related to China or Asian countries in general, because, especially in China, because there is a lot of optimism around cryptocurrencies in China. And we're seeing a very repetitive pattern with what we saw with the stock market bubble and the Shanghai Composite in 2015. With cryptocurrencies. It's a lot of people who are average everyday people like us living in China, and they're getting into mining, they're getting into trading and investing in cryptocurrencies. And the fact that AntShares has a dev team that's based in China, making it kind of a Chinese cryptocurrency, is a really good selling point. And what I love too, absolutely love, is that when it spiked up here, when it actually got really on the map, and people were really getting optimistic about AntShares. If we look at the price action here, you don't have to look at any complicated technical indicators or anything to get an idea that this is actually looking like it might go higher. Now, why is that? Well, where did it find support at? $5, okay. Where did it have resistance at? Oh yeah, the same resistance here at $10. Okay, well it comes back down. Oh, find support at $5. How ironic. The big evens. The big evens are what you have to care about here, guys. It's not that difficult to spot. Now, could we go below $5? Yes, and I'm hoping we do, because I want to get AntShares at a lower price. That being said, though, it has proven its worth at this point. There is a relatively limited supply of ANTs. It's got the fundamental and the fact that it's a cryptocurrency based in China. And honestly, guys, I think what you could see is a pullback to the first stop at this uptrend around $3.58. And if you could get it there, that would be a very nice price. It would technically bring it to a market cap where it would be, in my eyes, a small cap crypto, but a small cap crypto that's going to come right back to a mid cap. So really good pick if you guys can get it, in my opinion. But yeah, we'll just have to see what happens. And like I said, I'm going to be watching around the 350 level on this one. All right. Next up, Siacoin. Siacoin is one of my favorites because it's one of the few coins that really I think people haven't realized how much of a game changer this will be in the sense of cloud storage. Sia's technology, if you guys don't know about it, before I get into the price action. Sia is pretty much like it says on its website. It's a decentralized private cloud, and it runs at so much cheaper rates much cheaper rates than what we see with Amazon, Google Cloud, Microsoft, and it's private, it's decentralized, and the fact that it includes multi-region redundancy. I like that. There's so many selling points with this, guys, and how cheap it is to have cloud storage with this. It's really cool, just this whole decentralized network. If you guys don't really understand the technology, it's basically a decentralized cloud where you can get large terabytes of storage through multiple, spots of bandwidth, and you can store tons of information for much cheaper prices. It is literally, in my opinion, if you look at the scale, I mean, let's bump this up as we keep going up. The prices are around 1/10 of market costs. I mean, that is amazing. The monthly storage costs are extremely cheap. And the fact that Sia is used as a means of exchange to activate this technology, I think it's a huge selling point for the currency. So, we go back to Sia here. I think what you could see, we've already had a pretty decent pullback. This used to be, in my eyes, a mid cap. However, right now it's hanging right under it, so I would still consider it a mid cap. It's around 200 million. But with the pullback, we could get this at a market cap of 100 to 150 million, somewhere in between that range. And with that price movement, we could see Sia go down to about a half a cent per Sia. So I really think that's where you want to look for a buy point on this. I think Sia is a great long-term coin in my opinion. I'm going to be buying some if I can get it at that discount. And if I can get it anywhere below there, I'm going to be upping my position and really trying to make a larger long-term position on Sia. So, all right, guys, so that's it for Sia. And we're going to go to our last coin, which if you guys have watched my previous videos, you know that I have a lot of optimism for. And this is Numeraire. So Numeraire had a big spike up to $165 a few weeks back in late June, and it's just really kind of been pulling back ever since. However, I really do have long-term optimism for this, and the reason why I say that is because there is a limited supply in Numeraire. It is going to get harder to get, and the concept behind it is fantastic. Numeraire, actually, I think the company's name is a little bit different. I apologize. It's an interesting name. Numeraire, yeah. So basically, what the technology entails, Numeraire, is, to give you a short summary, it is a company that takes in large data sets, much like hedge funds do in actual traditional finance markets, and they release it out to a variety of data scientists who apply to help out with quote-unquote tournaments that go on. And they're given these large data sets that pretty much, if you look at it, it's literally just a sheet of numbers. However, data scientists know how to comprehend this and utilize it to plug in through algorithms and do algo trading. And basically speaking, they can find probabilities of whether or not random asset that they've been giving data for is going to go up or it's going to go down. And what happens is, whereas in a traditional hedge fund, there's about 4 or 5 people doing this with their own algorithmic sets. And in Numeraire's case, they have thousands of data scientists already, and that number is going to continue to grow in the sense of taking in all this data and measuring it and comprehending it and guaranteeing the probability of something going up or down. So it's a really cool technology standpoint, and Numeraire uses this data and this decisions of probability to do investments in financial markets. It's literally dominated over financial markets, guys, and it's the reason why you can't make swing trades now as much as you could. There's a reason you definitely should not day trade unless you are extremely experienced and do it on the daily. But yeah, so nonetheless, I really like this one. So what price level could we see this get down to, guys? What I like is it's already pretty cheap for what I think it offers. I'm surprised this coin did not ICO for something much higher than where it is right now. I don't know why, but I think Numeraire, well, I mean, I guess it did have a very nice run up here to 158, so I guess the market cap was much larger then. But I think you can honestly, if you can get this anywhere under $20, you're getting a steal. Honestly, truly believe that. And I'm going to I'm going to purchase some for myself if I can get it at that level. So yeah, Numeraire is a good one. I think you guys should watch. But any of these coins, if you can get them at the levels we talked about, guys, I think you've got some pretty good long-term holds. Not certain, though. We really have to see how things work with Bitcoin. But with the eventual pullback we're going to get, guys, it is going to be an interesting buying opportunity, in my opinion. I think we're going to be able to make some good money in the long term and hopefully, see higher prices in Bitcoin in the future and have an altcoin market that's actually stable. It kind of fishes out all the bad coins and really gets to the solid core technology of some really interesting crypto coins. So guys, anyways, that's it for the video. Thank you guys for letting me rant on a little bit, but I hope you guys got some information from this video and some good buy points to watch. I will see you all in the next video, and have a nice day.